today, and we are live here on social media because we have a quite the ice storm potential coming up for Monday and Monday night. So let me go on ahead real quick and show you what we have going on. Now there is a lot of weather to deal with. Now there is going to be a period of freezing rain that is going to be tonight and into the day tomorrow. That will have very, very limited impacts. Now, the main storm system comes in here on Monday. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you a region by region breakdown of what's going on here with this potential ice storm coming up on Monday. We're going to start in Jackson, Mississippi. We're going to Birmingham and then to Huntsville as well. So let me go on ahead and pull up this. And basically, as you can see here, there is an entire spread. All of the pinks that you see here on the map, those are winter storm warnings, basically going from New Mexico all the way over to the Mississippi-Alabama border and places in far western Tennessee as well. So this is going to be a very, very big and impactful storm system. So basically right now, if you're watching me in Dallas, Texas, all of Arkansas, the northern 2/3 of Louisiana, and a good portion of Mississippi, you guys are underneath a winter storm warning for the potential of sleet, snow, freezing rain, and a dangerous, crippling ice storm. All right, so the National Weather Service in Jackson has gone on ahead and issued a winter storm warning, basically for the areas that are in the significant threat of seeing ice. Basically, if you are in the red shaded area, basically from the Pine Belt, I would say along the 2059 corridor, back off to the west and northwest, you guys are underneath the significant threat of accumulation of ice and sleet. Travel conditions will be dangerous with roads potentially impassable. Additionally, where precipitation is predominantly freezing rain, numerous tree limbs will be downed, and expect numerous power outages, possibly lasting for several days. They are in the red shaded area that does include the Jackson, Mississippi metro area. So that is a significant threat of a significant amount of ice being produced on trees and power lines Monday into Monday night. Now, there's also the potential for basically Greenwood, Yazoo City, and Vicksburg for freezing rain to mainly sleet and snow. But for the majority of central Mississippi, it is going to be a freezing rain and ice storm threat for you guys. Now, as you can see, Hattiesburg, Laurel, and Meridian, you guys are still in the threat, but it is less likely down there. The further east you go, the more it's going to be just straight rain. There's also going to be a threat of the potential of this ice storm being a prolonged event because of the record-breaking cold that we are going to see next week. And unfortunately, some places in Mississippi, maybe over towards the Oxford, Mississippi area, over towards Tupelo, maybe Greenwood, Greenville, Yazoo City, and Vicksburg, you guys may not see temperatures above freezing until Thursday or Friday of next week. And that is why they're saying numerous power outages for a lengthy duration of time, is because the roads will be impassable for an extended period of time, because there will be cloud cover and there will also be the potential that you may not go above freezing until Thursday or Friday. So that is why you must prepare now for a long-term event. For the ice storm, the potential of a lot of snow, and the potential of power outages due to record-breaking cold expected next week in Mississippi. Now, as you can see right here on this map, a good portion of Mississippi is now underneath a winter storm warning. The National Weather Service in Birmingham has placed us here in Tuscaloosa underneath a winter storm watch. The next thing would be for them to upgrade to a winter storm warning sometime tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. Now, places like Hamilton, Fayette, Jasper, you guys could see upwards of 1/4 of an inch or higher amounts of ice. For Tuscaloosa, it's a little bit less, but the models are trending further east as it continues to update, and that is not a good sign for places like Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Demopolis. That is a very bad sign. But for right now, on Saturday at 6 o'clock, there is a winter storm watch and a winter storm warning in effect. For the warning is in effect for Mississippi. The watch is in effect for places basically along and northwest of a Tuscaloosa, Birmingham to Gadsden line. Now, here is the ice accumulation potential as of right now. Tuscaloosa is supposed to see 0.13. That is 1/1300ths of an inch of ice. Now, that is, kind of significant. It's not really that much, but like I said, the models with every single run are trending with a lot more, and they're trending further east, and that is not a good sign for us here in Tuscaloosa. Now, as you can see, when you get up towards Fayette, Jasper, and then Hamilton, you're getting up there into the critical area where you could see a ton of power outages and basically life-threatening roads, and then possibly tree branches and trees coming down because of the amount of ice that would be on there. So that is a significant threat there for the areas, I would say, from Tuscaloosa and points off to the west and to the northwest. Now, let's go up and take a look towards the Florence Killen area. The winter storm watch has been in effect and has been issued for basically from Huntsville to Coleman and points off to the west. And as you can see right there, Florence is supposed to get around 1/4 of an inch of ice. And that is not good news for our friends in Russellville, Florence, Tuscumbia, Killen, because significant travel impacts are expected due to slick roads, and power outages are possible due to ice-covered trees and power lines. Basically, if you were in the red section there, up in the Tennessee Valley area, and this is for Sunday afternoon through Tuesday morning, because there's going to be a batch that's going to move through tomorrow during the daytime, and then it's written. And if temperatures up in this area, if they do not go above freezing, then when there's a break in there, then of course you're going to see a lot more accumulation, because the ice that falls tomorrow afternoon is going to stay on the trees and the power lines as well. And so here is basically a timeline if you're up here in the Florence, Killen, Huntsville, Tuscumbia, Russellville areas. Today and tonight, light freezing rain will turn into rain late this morning. This was as of this morning. Minimal impacts expected for the rest of the night. rain comes to an end this evening. All right, then Sunday night into Monday morning, freezing rain is possible. Very light accumulations, mainly west of I-65, and hazardous road conditions. Now that right there, light accumulations. But if the temperatures between the break on Monday morning into Monday night, if there's no sun doesn't come out and we don't go above freezing, then of course that's going to add more issues to what we see Monday night. So when we get into the Monday night, Tuesday time frame, periods of rain and freezing rain likely across the Tennessee Valley, significant accumulations possible in some areas, dangerous road conditions more likely, and power outages possible. So what you need to do is you need to stay updated with the latest weather information. Update your winter weather emergency kit and use caution when outside and or traveling. If you do not have to travel, I would say between Sunday night and Tuesday or Wednesday up here in the Tennessee Valley and a good portion of Mississippi, I would not do that. So that is what's going on up there. Now, here are right now, the latest ice accumulation totals from the European computer model. And we will go through some more of the models here in just a second. But as you can see right here, there is a good band from Huntsville, Alabama, all the way down to basically Jackson, Mississippi, and Starkville and Columbus are expected to see off of this one model right here, close to and above half an inch of ice on trees and power lines. If that does happen, this will be a crippling ice storm for a good portion of northwest Alabama, east Mississippi, and central Mississippi, back over here where the winter storm warning is in effect. As you can see down here, Macomb, Mississippi has 0.75 inches of ice. That is getting closer to 1 inch of ice on trees and power lines. This is a significant situation. And as you can see, Tuscaloosa is supposed to see on this model 0.03. But if you watched the show that I did last night with Taylor Plott, called The Forecast with Stingray and TP, we were actually not supposed to see anything. It was supposed to be a cold rain for Tuscaloosa, and now that some of the models are showing that we could see anywhere from a quarter to maybe even less ice. So the models have continually gone on and pushed everything on off to the east. So if you're here in Tuscaloosa, you're going to really need to keep an eye on the potential there for a significant ice storm, and especially if you're over here in places like Fayette, Lamar, Marion, even Pickens County as well. Places like Aliceville, I was seeing some places over there getting close to a half an inch of ice in that location. All right, so let's go over here and take a look at the latest data. And as you can see right here, this is the updated HRRRRR. Okay, so this is the latest information. This is the latest run of the HRRR, and it goes out 48 hours. And as you can see, there is a good chunk of basically northwest Alabama and a really good portion of north and central Mississippi that is supposed to see a pretty good ice storm. Now, this, of course, is the total accumulated freezing rain or ice QPF, which is supposed to be the total amounts. Now, let me switch over here to the total snowfall. And as you can see, if you're getting over here towards Starkville, Mississippi, for snow, it's supposed to see 6.2 inches of snow. You can see Jackson, Mississippi is supposed to see about 6 inches. I think this is a little bit overdone with the snowfall accumulations, but I would not be surprised to see basically 5 to 6 inches of snow. And as you can see right here on this one model run from the HRRR, you can see Tuscaloosa right here has 1.7 inches of snow. That's almost 2 inches of snow right here in the Tuscaloosa area. And a lot more up here towards the Tennessee Valley and all that. So there, basically, the models are shifting more to the east. And it's going to be real interesting to see what they do tomorrow and into tomorrow night if they continued that eastward progression. All right, so let me take over here and go to that's the HRRR. All right, this is the North American model. All right, this is a 3-kilometer North American model. You can see the snow is basically confined from Tupelo back off to the northwest. So if you do not want snow, basically that is what you want. So the NAM is coming in a little bit drier. And there is a real fine line of freezing rain, basically from Tupelo down to Jackson, and then there's not much for Starkville or Columbus or any over here in West Alabama. And basically, based off of this run of the 3-kilometer NAM, you can see basically here it would all be rain here in Tuscaloosa. So see, if this verifies, basically all of your snow and your freezing rain would be confined to Mississippi and Tennessee. So if the 3-kilometer NAM was correct, Tuscaloosa would be right here. I'm going to pull up the sounding, and that would be, this sounding right here would be nothing but just rain. So if the 3-kilometer NAM is correct, we would all see rain here in Tuscaloosa. Now, here is where things get really interesting. If you go to the latest of the GFS model, as you can see, this would be noon on Monday. We're starting to get some freezing rain here in Tuscaloosa, and as you step this on out, we would have a mixed bag with a low pressure system sitting over near Atlanta, Georgia. Now, here is where things get rather interesting. If you go down here and you look at the total snowfall accumulation off of the GFS, it's pointing out almost 8 inches of snow in Jackson, Mississippi, 9 inches over here towards the Greenwood and Greenville, Mississippi area, and almost 3 inches for Tuscaloosa. Now, I really feel like that's overdone, but here is what's problematic for us. If the GFS is correct, Tuscaloosa, Foster's, Coker, Pickens County, Aliceville, Carrollton. I know you probably can't see that number, but that is almost an inch of accumulated ice for a good portion, basically a swath from Huntsville, Alabama, all the way down to just west of New Orleans. Now, this was not here 24 hours ago. So they have definitely, the models have definitely started to go more to the east. And it's going to be real interesting to see how well the models kind of handle the system as we get into tomorrow and tomorrow night before the system actually comes in. So there is a wide range of different scenarios here within the next few hours with all of the models. So it is basically going to be a wait and see situation here in West Alabama. Now, Mississippi, you guys are definitely going to see a significant ice storm. There's no doubt about that. But Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, Demopolis, you guys are going to be right on the line. And it very well could be like the snowstorm that we saw back in January, where it was actually snowing and 2 to 3 inches of snow in reform, and Tuscaloosa just saw cold rain. It could basically be something a little bit more like that, but on a much smaller scale. Basically, I would say, it may actually be snowing and freezing rain in Coker and a cold rain in Taylorville. I mean, that is how, just a thin line it is going to be, and the models may not, and we may not know where that line is going to set up until it actually starts. So this is going to be a rather tricky next 48 hours for all of us here in West Alabama. One thing is for sure, Mississippi is going to see a significant ice storm. The question is going to be this area over here, basically from Birmingham and points off to the west. The closer you are to the Mississippi state line, I think is the better shot of seeing ice here in Tuscaloosa. Here in Alabama. But the further east you go, it's going to be real interesting to see because there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a fine line of who gets cold rain and who gets ice, sleet, and snow. And this is a very tricky forecast for everyone. The local meteorologist, the national meteorologist, the guys at the National Weather Service, the guys at the Weather Prediction Center. This is going to be a very tricky forecast. Now, I would not be shocked to see one of two scenarios in the morning. I would not be surprised to wake up and when I do another video in the morning, see Tuscaloosa be upwards of 0.24 inches of ice. Or I could also see where the models completely trend it back west and Tuscaloosa basically get nothing. So it's going to be real interesting to see how the 0Z handles this, and then the 6Z tomorrow in the morning to see if they continue to push it on to the east or if they back off a little bit, because anything at this time is very possible, and this will change for Mississippi and Alabama. Now, I do believe by this time tomorrow, we can really get in there and fine-tune how much ice accumulation is going to be there for central Mississippi, basically for western, eastern, and central Mississippi. I think by this time tomorrow night, we can go ahead and say, okay, Jackson is expected to see this. Tupelo is expected to see this. Columbus is expected to see this amount. So I really feel like by this time tomorrow night, the Weather Service in Jackson will have a better understanding of how much ice accumulation we're going to see over here in central Mississippi. And hopefully by that time, we will know a little bit more with the Alabama situation as well. But there is no doubt that if you are from Huntsville, points off to the west, up here, Florence, Russellville, Tuscumbia, Killen, you guys have got to prepare for a major ice storm Sunday p.m. through Tuesday a.m. And this may actually linger with ice on the roads, ice on the trees, and the power lines through at least Wednesday or Thursday, because there is a possibility that no sun and there will be clouds sticking around, and we may not even get above freezing until Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday in some locales up here in North Alabama. And it's going to be extremely, brutally cold back over here towards the Memphis, Yazoo City, Eupora, Greenwood, Vicksburg. I mean, there could be some low temperatures in the single digits with wind chills below zero early next week. And these are in the daytime. We're not talking about nighttime. We're talking about daytime highs close to single digits, folks. This is a unprecedented, record-breaking cold expected next week and early next week. But we got to first get through the ice potential that there is for a good portion of the entire country. Basically, there is an ice storm or a winter storm warning. Basically, the areas that you see there in pink from New Mexico all across Texas, Louisiana, a good portion of Mississippi, and even portions of Alabama. Now, how often do you see a good portion of Texas under some kind of winter storm warning? This is about as unprecedented as it gets, folks. So that I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I want people to really know that this is a significant threat of a crippling ice storm for a good portion of the central United States, including Arkansas, Louisiana, Western Tennessee, Mississippi, and far west Alabama. So that's what we got going on here. This is a pretty big situation that we have going on. It is going to be life-threatening cold next week. And as of last night, at this time, Billings, Montana, had been under 0 degrees for 132 hours, and they have 67 hours to go until they actually go above 0. That's how incredible this cold snap and potential winter weather threat has become, folks. So basically, you can see all the way down here to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there is a winter weather advisory or a winter storm watch. How many times do you hear people say, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home of the LSU Tigers, under a winter storm watch? That's how unprecedented this is, folks. This is incredible. And what I'm telling you guys this to kind of get your awareness up, that you've got to prepare now. And especially if you guys are in the red shaded area, in the significant threat area, you guys have got to prepare for the potential of roads becoming impassable, numerous trees and limbs being down, numerous power outages, and possibly lasting for several days. That's how impressive this is, folks. This is how important this is to you guys to pay attention, know what you do, get a generator if you got one, and prepare, prepare, prepare. So I am over here. I am actually back here now, and I am going to read some of your comments. Let's see. Anything hitting Central Florida? All right, let me give me just a second. I would say for Central Florida is going to be a major flooding threat for you guys there in Central Florida, because this is a, I mean, usually with this, with this system, you would have, with this much cold air, you would have severe weather down here in Florida. So I would say that if you are here in Central Florida, there would be a potential for a few isolated severe storms with this, basically from, I would say, Tallahassee all the way down into Central Florida. But the most significant threat there is going to be from the ice and the potential for bitterly cold air right now. Guys, I cannot stress enough how incredibly dangerous this is going to be for a good portion of Mississippi and possibly northwest Alabama. Like I said, I cannot stress this enough, and you've got to prepare for it now. Because by Monday it will be too late. Not to panic anybody, but how many times do we see an ice storm down here? I believe the last ice storm of this magnitude that came through during my lifetime was back in 92, maybe. Now, I know that there was one back in 1985, and I know there was one that impacted Tuscaloosa back in the 70s that I've heard people talk about before. And there is a good possibility that this could be as bad as that one if the models continue to trend on off to the east. Now, the next set of model runs comes out about midnight tonight, and that one's really going to tell the tale. And I plan to do another update in the morning, sometime around 10 a.m. And I will be here watching this all day tomorrow. I plan to do one tomorrow morning about 10, another one tonight or tomorrow night about 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I will do frequent updates on Monday as the situation unfolds, and we can kind of get a better feel for where this potential line is going to set up. So once again, let me just go back over this briefly. All of Mississippi is now under a winter storm warning. basically from Meridian to Laurel to Ellisville and points off to the northwest. That's how far into Mississippi this goes. There is now a winter storm watch for Sumter, Greene, Tuscaloosa counties and points off to the north and to the west. If you are down here in Selma, Clanton, Alexander City, Anniston, Gadsden, Montgomery, Troy, Eufaula, Selma, you're going to see a cold rain out of this. Tuscaloosa, Jasper, Demopolis, Utah, you guys are going to be on the line, and it's going to be very, very, iffy to see where that line of freezing rain to rain sets up. But if you're up here in Fayette, Aliceville, Hamilton, and closer to the Mississippi state line, that is where there is a significant threat of a pretty big ice storm. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for this weather update. I hope all of you have a great rest of your evening. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me, or for those of you who know me, you can always text me to get a weather update. Like I said, I plan to do another update around 10 a.m. in the morning, and then another one like this tomorrow night. And I will be here watching the trends all day tomorrow and all day on Monday as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Don't forget, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, guys. Anyway, have a great rest of your evening, and as always,